Dear CEOs and industry leaders, you are most graciously welcome to Akul Mac Business Bunker. This is a forum where you are able to showcase your products to the masses, to the investor, to the prospects, and to your client. And if you want to promote your company and yourself, you have landed at the right place. Before we continue, do like and subscribe our channel. Today's guest needs no introduction. She is a very well-known professional, especially in the senior pedigree in India, and she is a very well-known learning and development executive. So, without further ado, let's welcome Aditi Palit.
Thank you once again, Chandra. Great to be back here on this platform. I hope you're doing well.
All well, thank you, Aditi ji, and thank you for joining the show. And today we want to discuss about the future of teamworks because in past couple of years many things have changed. So we want to pick your brains in terms of where we are headed. And I think I have one question for you, which is the type of changes you have noticed since you work with so many chief executives across India, within India, and also overseas in past 2 years. So basically, the question is regarding the teamwork and the changes to teamwork in past 2 years.
Yeah, I would like to share my views on this. Needless to say, everyone knows that the transformation to digitalization had started a few years back. And with the onset of this pandemic, it has become an overwhelming choice for companies, organizations to switch to digitalization because of the nature of work, remote work and hybrid work. It's becoming more and more the option these days. So this overwhelming dependence of technology has its influence on teamwork also. We all know that, recent communication and collaborative tools have been discovered, and a lot of dependence on something like cloud computing, artificial intelligence, smart work, messaging, video conferencing. This has been dictating the nature of work across organizations. Now, with regard to teamwork, I believe with other aspects also of an organization's work, it has both its pros and the cons. Now, pros are, of course, plenty, because of which the people heading the organizations and companies have opted for it. Definitely much faster pace of work. And the, if not the physical touch, the touch, through the online touch, the virtual touch, through video conferencing and online meetings. Definitely scheduling and, operating by the team leaders, the departmental managers, which proved a little bit of a hiccup at the beginning because suddenly the pandemic pushed this nature of work for everybody to pick up and go forward with. This but took off. And, so what happened is the leader had to, of course, first adopt to the virtual means of communication and collaboration, which are the two vital pillars of effective teamwork. Now, they had to do that and then percolate the methods he or she had adopted to their team members. Now, this got on, and the timings and all had to be adjusted. Everybody in different parts of the country and worldwide, those who are working with global teams, all this had to be set in place. The hiccup came when the teamwork is, as you know, it's a common saying by everyone knows. Steve Jobs said that, great work in organization, in the workplace, is not done by one person. It is done by a team of men. So what is the great feature of teamwork is collaboration. Collaboration which results in attaining the goal or goals of the particular team. It depends on effective communication. Then that was what were the benchmark. Now the cons of this is not everybody in the team were technically savvy, or the rate at which they were picking up this was not the same. So there was a breakage in teamwork. Now, the vital aspect of teamwork, which is not only does the teamwork do his part, but he or she has to help other team members achieve the deadline and complete the work within schedule. Now, what happened? Then the managers or the leaders realized that this required upskilling, in some cases reskilling of those members who were falling behind. Say a message was delivered to the any representative of a team by the manager, and he or she had to send through emails the message. Now, how that the other team members received that and executed his or her part also differed. Now, on remote work, when you're not physically there, working together and discussing this, and getting overcoming your lacunas, this became a great challenge. But slowly, so what was the solution? Give that person, the team member, time. And again, I'll come back to my favorite term, empathy. Now, if the team leader or the team manager had to understand that he or she, that team member, is excellent in creativity. He or she suggests the best possible way of doing that work in a creative manner, which would lead to faster achievement of goals and, also make a difference to the overall performance and productivity of the team. If he or she lagged behind in the technological aspect, he or she had to be understood. Where the managers and the team leaders understood this, adopted understanding, manner, there the team functioned successfully. Coming to communication. Earlier, it was through emails mainly and phone calls. Apart, I'm not taking into consideration the physical meetings, which had to be done away with in the pandemic. Now, communication from the team leaders, if it is only on the communication tools, it does not work. I will stress again the fact that pick up the phone and talk to a team member who's not feeling very secure about executing his or her work virtually. So this is the main aspect which I wanted to point out, that there are pros and cons, and every organization had to fight through the cons.
Well, Aditi ji, there are certain things I want to highlight here is that when it comes to digital arena, there are a lot of collaboration tools which are available, and the employees today can work on these tools, collaboration tool using Zoom and whatever digital platforms they have. There are
Yes.
there
A very
are
common one is Slack. The people at Trello and Slack and all that have to be introduced and got used to it. There are a few popular ones.
So my question was in that case is that going forward, the platforms are becoming more and more like a norm. And earlier we had to use these platforms and go to the office, but now we are doing the same thing, sitting at our work from home scenario, using these platforms, collaborating, and working as a team. So again, extension of my previous question is how it has changed in last 2 years, and what is the role of team leader now in order to keep his team intact, especially when last year there were many resignations. So what they could have done special to retain these people, to basically cohesively hold his team.
That is, it has been discussed, and my view is also that instead of sacking an employee because of poor performance virtually, why don't the think tanks upskill or reskill that person? If his performance has been consistently good before this virtual aspect, total virtual aspect, came into dominance. That is where I think you're also aware that the leading MNCs are now going out of their way to stop this large scale attrition. Mental well-being has taken the topmost priority. If an employee is himself or herself sick, family member is or likewise, the constant threat of different forms of viruses coming into and playing havoc with our lives. Misinformation. I told last time on my stress management talk that there's a lot of misinformation. Some people are spreading unscientific news. So the first part take that there is the role of communication. Anytime the leader, the approach of the leader is that I am available all the time. You cannot perform something, talk to the group head. If he or she cannot solve your problem, I'm there, just a phone call away. This is a challenge which everyone is facing, biological warfare, as it is sometimes termed, along with what is called now the fourth industrial revolution in terms of the all-out use of technology. Here the solution is each company should make a happy marriage of technology and the human touch. It's everyone. Suppose an employee who's not from the science background. Nowadays, many IT companies are also taking in candidates from non-IT. I know the basic facts of using Zoom and Gmeet and now Microsoft Teams. That can be done, but maybe particular, collaborative or communication tool he or she is not comfortable with. The manager ought to sit, means virtually or over phone, on email. I prefer a phone call over all inanimate access. This constant, because it is not only what we have to focus. An employee is made of the practical side and the human side. You cannot leave behind the human side at home and start working and become a thorough and all-out professional. It is needed. He or she has to work out on his own also. The particular employee has to say, if the other members in my team is doing it, I better burn the midnight, a candle and light and get a hold on this technology, on this platform, on this software too. Still, in spite of maximum effort, if it's not done, that doesn't mean you are given the exit, slip by the management. I always, when I talk to the think tanks, I always, request that before doing that, look at the past record of the employee pre-pandemic times. And if it's a new one who has been onboarded virtually, that means the onboarding has not been satisfactory. It is on the part of the representative of the company to find out why he or she is still not comfortable with the processes that are functioning in the organization. So technology will all get, increase. You know this very well. Technology is, maybe beating us in a way in its rate of changing, the nature, the types, but human beings are still the same. They need time, they need understanding, they need empathy. To lose a job in this critical times is still a big, big blow to those families who are depending on that breadwinner. As Mr. Ratan Tata, my idol in the present scenario in India said, when there was, initially there was a huge loss of jobs, that it seems India Incorporated has lost its heart. If someone is failing over and over again, then he or she can be warned. But please, it's a request, please do not let go of an employee because of the circumstances. Try to give him or her a second chance. That is my take on this. And each team member, if physically and emotionally is fully healthy, then only he can or she can contribute the maximum to the performance of the team. So the team leader, to get the maximum out of them, as leadership norms have changed, you have to lead by example. No more the age of issuing instructions.
All right. So before we move on to the next question, I wanted to share viewers that there is a link above. As you can see, this link, you can actually go to this website and engage with our various services. In fact, if you want to display your services, your offerings, you can actually subscribe to our services. There are many options. So moving on, Aditi ji, I think you mentioned the word skills. So for a productive team, I think there are new skills required. And what are these new skills required by the managers as well as the team members in terms of communication? I think you use these words very many times: communication, effective cohesiveness, empathy, etc. So what are these skills required and who is going to train them? And hence my question is, what are the alternative methods of teamwork that you would suggest going forward in the decades to come?
For me to answer this question, as going by reports, not before 2024, this threat will go away in a way where we can be comfortable. I'm saying just by statistics and, talking to medical professionals, including my husband. Now, what I would suggest, what I support is a virtual method. 2 or 3 times go to the office, limited numbers, do the physical meetings, the discussions, a little bit of where the team is failing, what is the next step. I would suggest the team members call the high performing team members at one go, and then the ones who are finding problems. I have seen here why still, employees are opting for remote work. Total remote work will not solve your problems. Where you're having an issue, especially new joinees who have not interacted with the team leaders and the managers, departmental heads. The very fact that you are not trusting the company to carry on sanitizing methods, not to have too much of close interactions, not to opt for, I suggest outbound activities, out of the office meetings, Meeting at a near pub also, if the cases are, not are a little bit serious. Don't call them to the office if they are not comfortable, but get them out of the house. And this onus is on the team leaders, team managers, the management. Without finding out or getting that, message of assurance, I see a lot of, young joinees saying, we will leave the job, but we will not go back to office, because on us, on our health depend the family members. My trainees, I tell them that have faith. If anything untoward happens, more than you, the reputation of the company will be harmed. They will go out of the way to assure that. If it's an offer for 2 days in physical and rest from work from home, go for it. And above all, there is God. If you show sincerity and go along with the company policies, you are going to be rewarded. Teamwork, so this is another aspect which I wanted to point out is, if you see the employees are going out of the way, there is sickness at home, but maybe they made isolation, whatever, but not let his or her work get affected. The virtual work, reward him or her, reward that employee. Instead of, not those who are asking for leave, not to attend the meetings and, carry on with his or her part, or go for discussion with team members because there is a person sick. I know it is I have gone myself through it. There's a constant threat of my son who stays out. He's a research scholar. He's working with a reputed company. The other day he said, Ma, there are 3 people in my lab have got affected. So my natural instinct as a mother made me tell him, stop going to work. He said, I can't do that. My part is still there. They have sanitized in front of our eyes. They've given us adequate, a protection. And my duty is to, give back to the company. So I would say that all of the employees also do take this measure, and on the part of the management, go out of your way and assure that we have done this. And if you come to office, if not office, somewhere near the office where we will hold open air, as I told, that having a medical professional as my spouse, even if we go out for eating or something, or dinner or lunch, which is a open space. An open space is less harmful. There are companies who are, and even especially in the West, who are holding in pubs, in open air, in gardens. Why don't we open our imagination and do this kind of meetings, team meetings, and ask the team members to work outside? This will, I am sure, yield greater results than forcing those team members who are totally reluctant. But those who are going, please reward them adequately.
Well, thank you so much, Aditi ji, for giving such good advices. And as we speak, we know that we are actually going through the year of mass resignation. So while people have lost their job in 2020, but 40% of the workforce has willingly resigned. So I think we are passing through an era of change where the corporates are also thinking and strategizing what to do, how they recalibrate their hiring strategy. So all of that. So we will come back to this subject with Aditi in future because this is a very vast subject. Thank you so much for joining us, Aditi,
Yes,
for giving.
I would like to say that this, I would like to talk on that. And thank you, Chandra, again for giving me this opportunity to air my views.